Hey, what? I'm a little bit
And plus,
blurry.
I wore this shirt today. Wore this shirt during the video. Don't
Yeah,
make me. It's dangerous to go.
it's
It's
weird,
dangerous to
man.
go alone. Take this.
I feel like I'm blurry.
Really? I don't see you as blurry
Or
though.
maybe my eyesight's going blurry? That's weird. Maybe I just need more light. Yeah, there's a panel. Alright. Hard to do this with a kid. Alright, there we go. People are coming in. Oh.
Cool.
Whew. Okay, we're waiting for Kelly and a couple other people to join. Hey, someone. Jeremy, Bram, Broken Carpenter. Awesome.
Hello? Can you guys
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, shoot. I gotta not hide.
Oh, hold on. Let me tune down so that I don't get audio feedback from YouTube. All right. How's everyone doing this evening?
Good.
Oh, fantastic! Like I made it.
That's weird.
Okay.
Video.
Okay. I made like a 49 video of me ranting and rambling. Like about the daily banter.
Hey, you're not Niko House.
Oh, I know. Okay, let me be exact. 49 minutes and 35 seconds of me ranting and rambling on this article. Plus, I wanted to, take many jabs at the
Okay, how about that?
Wait. This wouldn't have anything to do with the article I tried to send Tim, was it?
The one from Daily Banter. The one
Yeah.
that's tried to discredit H.A. Goodman, Caitlin Johnstone.
Okay, it's a different one.
Tim Black.
Oh, send me that one. This would be good. And as a trade, I'll send you the article I was trying to.
It's like Pokemon trading. I'll trade you this Pokemon for that Pokemon. Did anyone see the Pokemon Direct today?
Except mine's is a comment, so I'm not sure if it if it's an equivalent trade. But fuck it, we'll do it.
Oh my god, that was
This is
honestly.
I'm giving you the equivalent of sending you a Goldeen on dry land.
Yeah, Snorky, Y2K, he's asking if he can't get a hold of tomorrow. You can go ahead and send him a direct message on Twitter, Snorky. Or Snork, Y2K, sorry.
Oh, I'm available on Twitter all the time.
Yeah.
I am the Twitter.
I feel like
I
my
love the
camera's
Twitter.
blurry. Whoa.
You know the funny part about
light.
this week is
Oh, there
was
you go.
when I found out, when I was originally going through the weekend, I thought, man, I can't wait to just rip Bill Maher a new one on After Show. And then Sam Cedar happened, and then I became really pissed off.
Alright, let me try to fix...
And I haven't been on my Twitter because I've been working on this video for like 40. But I'm gonna make it totally 100% unedited though.
No, keep it unedited. I want to see that. I want to see this ramp in its full glory.
Sorry I'm late,
But
guys.
I did the
That's right.
triggered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you did the trigger thing.
Okay.
I had to.
Aw,
You don't like being wrapped up so tight anymore, do you?
fussy baby. Sorry I'm late, guys. I
That's
missed the show. My daughter's home and we've just been running around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, H.A. Goodman has a new video out.
Okay.
You what?
H.A. Goodman has a new video out.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to watch that. I'll watch that later.
Damn it! I didn't see the new one.
Is that from this afternoon?
No, I think that was just a few minutes
It
ago.
just got recently posted
Oh.
right now. Seth Rich murder investigation covered up
How?
by Daily Banter attacking progressive voices.
And that's 20 minutes.
Wow, okay.
The alt left is losing its mind, and people are noticing. There is no alt left, though. You're just
21
literally
minutes
set
and
up.
17 seconds. Holy shit. This is gonna be the most it's gonna be great.
Wait a minute. Should we do like a live reaction?
They
Just
just have to label it something. They've got to marginalize what all the independents are flocking to. If they call it alt left,
there's
they're
there's
just
no
trying to set in fear. Like some of us don't want to be associated with alt right, so they just want to label it.
I guess I get what they're trying to do, but I guess it's because they realize using the term far left for everything that strays outside of the mainstream just really doesn't cut it anymore. When,
Right.
when there are not enough anarchists to be given a fuck about.
I know. I met some anarchists not too long ago.
Oh, you're meeting one right now. Hi.
Oh, okay, hi. Well, I met some when Krish Mohan, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, was here with Lee Camp, and then he came back a second time, and anyway, these anarchist guys came along, and they had been really involved in a lot of stuff in the '90s in Chapel Hill. Like there was I don't know the whole story, but you can look it up. Apparently, it was in I think a Sonic Youth song, maybe. But there was a bookstore, the Internationalist Bookstore here in Chapel Hill, and he was pretty, I guess, quote, radical. But he was shot and killed. And there was a big controversy about it, about whether it was just a random, they said it was a random robbery and all this stuff. But he was very, very political. And these guys we talked to, they didn't think it was random. But like one is a mushroom farmer now. He was just like, I gave up. Like we fought and fought and fought, and they just got burned out on it. And they weren't able to organize back then, like the way people can do things online now.
That's kind of been the struggle for a lot of our left groups. I mean, now thanks to YouTube, it's a little bit easier to propagate. So you do have some like mainstream channels like Libertarian Socialist Rants, Bad Mouse Production, to name a few.
Right.
But a lot of the communes, like YouTube online communes, don't tend to last very long, simply just not because of the institutional pressures.
Right.
Among other things. And in-group fighting over ultimately somewhat petty nonsense.
I do feel like something has to break, though, at some point soon. I mean, I don't know. Something's got to break with the DNC lawsuit or Kim.com providing evidence or something, because I don't know. I just feel very disheartened the past week or so. Like, I don't know. We're just getting marginalized.
Hey, Dominic.
Well, I think that's I think we kind of knew that was a possibility when we got into this mess. So to me, like the idea that I'm probably going to be you and me and everybody else in this chat room is probably going to be marginalized to the excrements of society. We knew the risk of that going into this. So
yeah, you have to just kind of not give a fuck in the first place. Pardon my language, Roland.
No. We're all adults. I think mostly.
In the room.
I'm not so sure about Eric.
Oh, I'm 29.
No, I'm talking about Roland.
Oh, he'll get there in a year or two.
Oh.
even like who was it? Trey Parker. Her daughter voices Ike on South Park, and she said like curse words, and that was like completely funny.
Yeah, it's just teaching kids when, like I tell my kids, just save it for when it's really effective, like just
really funny.
Cussing all the time, but
yeah,
I cleaned it up for my oldest one, but by the time we got to the second one, like forget it.
You gave up.
Well, you go through some hard times, and it just comes out. What can I say?
You can learn from the masters.
Yeah, well, I learned how to curse like a sailor from my mother, so I was really raised by my grandmother, who didn't cuss, but
both parents.
They're just words.
Yeah, they're words. They don't really affect anything really.
Like-
It's just it's like appropriate or inappropriate.
Yeah.
Their views are closer to libertarianism than liberalism. Well, mine's technically are, being a libertarian socialist and all, but most of the people here are just straight social democrats.
Yeah.
Like,
I
no,
think-
like the political philosophy, not whatever the Democrats attempt to co-opt that term as.
I think that's the thing. The biggest thing that any of us or anyone like us can do is continue to push back on those radical labels and say no. Like that was one of I think the big mistakes that Bernie made. Not that there's anything wrong with saying democratic socialist, but if he had just stuck to saying, I'm an FDR Democrat, basically,
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what social democrats are.
Right, but it's all about branding.
The democratic socialism, well, there's a bit of a weird history about the term social democrat and democratic socialism between the two. Something about it being like an infighting over whether or not reformational politics should be the way to go,
Yeah.
or something along those lines. But
I think if
like-
we refuse that label, we refuse it and say no, you don't get to call us whatever.
Yeah, but-
we're just we want a new deal or a green new deal.
We'll take the
like a
old
Green
New Deal.
I'd like the Green New Deal. That was one of my favorite parts of Jill Stein's platform, to be honest.
Yeah.
The college debt thing would have been nice, but the Green New Deal was what really got my attention.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad I couldn't vote for her. Fucking Oklahoma.
Oh.
Who'd you vote for?
Huh? I voted for no fucker. I just voted in the locals.
Mm.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, I
Like,
was in no. Sorry.
I wasn't gonna co-sign a fucking war with Russia. Are you gone nuts?
Right.
Oh no, I was just curious.
Yeah, no. I didn't mean that like how dare you accuse me of voting for Hillary Clinton? I didn't
Oh
mean it
no,
like that.
no! I wouldn't accuse anybody, but I was just
I
curious.
wouldn't accuse my worst enemies of that.
All I did was vote for Jill Stein and nobody down ballot because I was so fed up with everything that was going on here with Democrats in North Carolina. And there were a gaggle of housewives outside of the school where I went to vote. And I just couldn't help it. They started talking to me and I said, there is no way in hell. I said, I voted for Obama twice. I voted for John Kerry before that. Before that was Nader, but I don't think I went into that. But I just said, there's no way. I'm not. I refuse to vote for a single Democrat on this ticket. And they just kind of were like, when I walked back out, they just sort of backed away.
That's
I couldn't help it.
no. The thing is that this is what I've always tried to say. Your vote is your vote, and you should do your best to make the best choice possible out of it. And then when it comes of it, it comes of it. Yeah, you have to take responsibility for what your vote ends up resulting in. But beyond that, it pretty much begins and ends at the poll.
Right. And if they want to come, they wanted to be outside to talk to people and quote unquote educate people. And they brought it up with me. So I finished it.
Yeah. Like, I have a bunch of friends who were Hillary Clinton supporters. Responsibility for what your vote ends up. Wait, hold on.
Hello.
Like, I had a bunch of friends who were Hillary Clinton supporters, but I told one of them because, she actually made a very similar point to me. And I said, you know what? Good on you. Good on you for voting your conscience. That's because ultimately, if you want a democracy to work, that's the only way it's going to work.
Right.
If you're voting in bad conscience, then you're not. Then you're actually doing more damage to a democracy in the long run than you are by taking an inconvenient step.
Well, my husband made a point here because, so North Carolina, I would say, I think I've mentioned this before, Asheville was very much Bernie territory. Asheville's more hippie. Chapel Hill is liberal, but it's more upper class liberals. And So there was this whole like, oh, it's just the dirty hippies that vote for Jill Stein. That was sort of like the stereotype
Mm.
being put. So Michael made a point to put on a suit and his Jill Stein button and everything, and went and stood outside at the polls. And I think he had a petition or something, but
Just play up the stereotype as much as possible.
yeah, but he made sure to look like, he was in his business attire, and like to just shatter that whole image that what was kind of being pushed around here.
Mm.
So I thought that was really cool, and he posted that on Facebook.
Well, that's
Suit coat with the Jill Stein button on.
that's a good fit. I wish I was that intelligent, but I nearly missed voting.
So I know I'm hosting, but I'm not sure I'm going to stay on really late because I'm leaving tomorrow to drive.
Oh, where are you going?
I'm driving across the country or halfway. No, I used to drive to Michigan and back all the time. I'm driving to Chicago. So
Ooh, have fun there.
Neighbor Summit?
well, I have an uncle in Cincinnati, so I thought, why not? It's halfway, so I'm just going to visit with him and keep on going. It's like 6
Nice.
Have fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like road trips.
Road trip. What?
So actually, I wondered if Stevie's going to be on. Anybody here? Is she in the chat?
She probably will.
No.
She usually comes a bit later though, so
Right.
I wouldn't
'cause
expect
think
her-
I'll be going. I think she's in Charleston, and I'm going to be going right through there.
Oh.
So maybe I'll say, hey, meet me for a coffee or something.
That'd be
But,
cool.
Yeah, why not? So anyway,
what's the worst that could happen?
we'll just hang out at a.
Are,
Whatever.
are you driving by yourself?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
gotta be a
wow.
long drive.
Oh, God bless you.
Is your neck gonna be all right?
Yeah, that's why I'm going to break it up in 6 and 6 hours. So, like I said, I made 3 trips back and forth to Michigan by myself and took care of my grandfather for weeks. So, my condition is like, I never know. Like, it's possible I could end up stuck in Cincinnati. But, usually I know how to pace myself. So, I'll be okay. I'm used to driving. But it's unpredictable. Sometimes I'm fine and sometimes I'm not. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. But yeah, road trips don't bother me. You get going and just, clear your head. I'll probably catch up on all these beautiful, YouTube videos I haven't had time to listen to and listen to music or whatever. But yeah, I've actually never, being from Michigan, it's very odd, but I've never been to Chicago. Strange. 5 hours from Detroit, but I've never been there. So
Who are you excited to listen to?
well, I'm kind of struggling with that now. I think I was super excited about Glenn Greenwald. He's
Oh,
my anchor, And now I'm like, ugh, what the hell is going on with that? And I don't know whether I don't want to completely discredit him or say they're not doing. I don't know what to think anymore.
for people that might be watching and not knowing what's going on with the Intercept, do you want to give a little skinny on that?
Well,
Crap! I forgot to check on that.
okay, and well, I'll back up. I didn't say anything about it on Twitter until last night, which I kind of feel like now makes it look like, I don't know, I'm just being biased. But I actually started having my doubts about it when Jared Beck first kind of said, hey, why aren't you guys covering this? The DNC lawsuit, fraud lawsuit. And I had wondered the same about Democracy Now! Like, okay, why is this not even being mentioned at all? And I thought, man.
Oh wow!
But they kept not getting to it. And then when Jared Beck kind of poked at Greenwald, maybe not in the friendliest way, but in the way they do. And then it just blew up into this, ridiculousness. And now I haven't had enough time today to really follow up on what's been going on with the, what's her name? reality.
Reality winner.
Yes. What?
That-
So, how can we have this Anthony Weiner and
You know, it's getting easier to know when something funky is up because all the corporate mainstream media will go overboard on it, and I just now for me I just ignore it when that happens.
Yep. So no, mainly what I saw was that Assange, as you know, had tweeted basically, you know, the Intercept messed up here, and you know, exposed who she was, and you know.
Yeah, that's kind of a shitty thing to do.
But is it like, you know, you kind of can't help it. Your alarm bells go off like,
Wait,
was that accidental?
was this person already caught? Because I did remember my parents were talking about NSA agent being caught for whistleblowing a couple days ago. Does this story have anything to do with that?
Well, I think it broke yesterday, or maybe the day before, the night before. Was it Sunday night?
Yeah, Sunday or Monday night.
I think it was Sunday.
So, yeah, and I think I may have said something incorrect last night, but I thought there was something about maybe it was that the original that she gave the intercepted information last April. But it's just now coming out. I'm not sure. I gotta do my digging on that. But somewhere someone said during the Obama White House that she gave this. So I don't know. If anyone knows,
Why now?
Jump in.
Like, I can't believe that Glenn Greenwald is necessarily doing this to be craven, but
No,
it's difficult to imagine why else he'd do this.
Well, then I started reading about the history of the Intercept and who owns the Intercept. And another journalist, I tweeted about it. I can't remember his name. I need to start writing all this down. There's an article, I put it on Twitter, and he was kind of critical of the Intercept and whatever the company it was before that. They kind of split off.
Mm-hmm.
But there have been some issues there. So, but the guy that owns the Intercept, I guess, owns eBay, I think. I don't know. Anybody know more than I do on this? No.
I haven't even touched the story.
Yeah, it's so much to take in, and that's how I've felt the past week, just like, oh my God, where are we supposed to get facts from? I'm just trying to absorb all this and detect what's real and what's, you know.
I don't remember if it was Carlin who said this or Chomsky, but there's an old quote that comes to mind. If you don't read the papers, you're not being informed. If you read the papers, you're being deliberately misinformed.
Yeah, Denzel Washington recently said that.
Yep.
Yeah, let me see. I tweeted. I'm going to pull it up.
You know, I don't like the whole Russia narrative, and especially I think this one was more like Russia attempted to break in, and it's just, you know, attempted.
And it kind of fell on them.
Yeah, and you know, while mainstream media is going at this narrative about Russia rigging the elections, is we know Hillary Clinton rigged the DNC elections.
Right. So they're
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With-
so
the irony is that they have about as much proof that Russia hacked the elections as we had at the time of the convention that the DNC had rigged it for Bernie. The difference.
right. Okay, here it is. It's
It's just hypocrisy. It's just astounding.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off
No,
there.
no.
I
No, go
found,
ahead.
okay, so it was actually in Politico, who I stopped reading long ago, but it's titled "Where Journalism Goes to Die," and it's
Oh,
dated
that's not ominous.
February of 2015. Glenn Greenwald, Pierre Omidyar, He's the one. Somebody, Syed, and okay. My Battles with First Look Media by Ken Silverstein. It's this big, long 3-page thing, trying to read all this. Like, okay, first it was something called First Look, and how, let's see, Pierre Omidyar was the owner. The Intercept launched into what would turn out to be basically the biggest story. Okay, wait, the beginning. Oh, the beginning of the end for me, though, came as the Intercept launched into what would turn out to be basically the biggest story of its short existence, I guess, in its previous form. The Serial Chronicles. I just wasn't paying enough attention. I recognized the name Natasha Vargas Cooper, and it was a podcast thing. But I just didn't pay attention to all this back then, so I'm having to learn all what that was about to try to decipher what the truth is now to analyze this properly. You just feel like, shit, where do you go? But yeah, so there was that, and it wasn't very favorable about the Intercept or Glenn Greenwald, honestly. So that guy, Ken Silverstein.
Well, beef posts rarely are.
Let's see. So in that one tweet, if you follow me, I don't know, or you can go to Kelley's words, it's a big picture of Glenn Greenwald, because that was the link there. And I posted, it's on the meaning of journalistic independence. And then maybe I posted it separately. There was another article too. I think I put them both in one tweet. Anyway, it's just, I don't know. I don't know where to turn anymore, because, I like getting stuff from independent media, but I also like to have somewhere to, I used to at least think Democracy Now! Was somewhere I could get a good chunk of my news, but like, does anyone know if they still not covered the fraud lawsuit? Last I heard they hadn't.
I haven't watched Democracy Now! In a long time. I still like tuning in every now and then for the debate segments, because they usually are really well moderated, but I haven't tuned in since the election.
Right. But yeah, Glenn Greenwald was our our anchor. He was basically saying stuff about Russia. There's no evidence. I felt like he was truthful. He wasn't saying.
Sounds like a zipper.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
He was on Democracy Now! Quite a bit in interviews, but anyway.
I don't know.
Yeah, Kelley, to answer your question, I'm on the website right now, and it seems like they still haven't covered it at all. No mention of Southridge anywhere on the front page. I just did a search right now. Nothing's coming up about Southridge.
I don't know.
Hey, Broken Carpenter.
Oh, hey, Broken. I don't know. My perspective is on this kind of stuff is this. I usually don't try and get angry at people for not covering something I think is important. Or, unless I reach that point of fucking desperation. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, this is my problem with Benjamin Dixon's argument about this when he was interviewing H.A. Goodman on his channel about a couple months back. And that Ben tried to make the argument that everybody should be focusing on, should be trying to divert some attention away from the Clinton analysis towards focusing on, or at least diverting some attention to stuff relating to the Trump administration and other sort of current events. My perspective at the time then and my perspective now hasn't really changed much, and that is that really at the end of the day, I don't think that there's a problem necessarily with people taking different perspectives or even different areas of focus. So if Democracy Now! Doesn't wish to focus on the Seth Rich story or the DNC fraud suit, then I don't think that they. I feel it's in my place to say that they should be obligated to do so just because it's an issue important to me. That Democracy Now! Has its own agenda that it's wanting to set out to achieve, and honestly, it's not really up to me to dictate it. I can only dictate whether or not I wish to listen to it.
Well, right, but it says a lot for them to leave it out, I think.
Silence speaks louder than words.
Yeah.
In some cases, I don't know. I haven't seen enough of where Democracy Now! Is currently to be able to put my finger on one scale or the other. If they are focusing on other issues related to the progressive movement that might be of interest, then whatever. If they want to focus on something else, then that's fine. But if they're, pounding the Russian narrative at the expense of anything else, then obviously we need to rethink the strategy. Rethink whether or not they are a credible news source to listen to. That's my perspective.
Oh, I'll be right back.
Well, I would agree with that, except that I kind of feel like until we beat down the corruption in the Democratic Party, how are we going to actually really fight? I mean, I feel like it's just a distraction, and we've all talked about this a bunch of times, to just be, as Tim says, the one Trump note, It's like Democrats are thrilled if you're just talking about that stuff.
Right.
Not shining it on them. So.
Right.
I'm on the Glenn Greenwald thing. I started watching Same Progressive, and then I saw this came on live, so I came over here. So what does Greenwald do? Is he getting on board with the Russian narrative or something?
I don't think so, but
my understanding of it is that the woman that got the file on the Rush connection, she copied it on her workstation or at a work, from her work area, and brought it out, folded it, and brought it out of there. And they were able to ascertain from the fold, and also because there's markings below the actual printing, there's like an invisible layer of ink that timestamps everything and tells you what station it was printed at and where. So
right, I saw that.
So she wasn't exactly real careful, but they weren't careful either in handing over that document directly to a contractor to verify it was real.
Well, what I wondered is how many liberals jumped up today and all of a sudden they're for Glenn Greenwald and The Intercept. They were before,
I can't keep up with those flip-flops.
I know. All right, I'm listening. I have to go for a sec. Be right back.
No worries.
But shit, it's been a weird week, and it's not even day 2.
Oh yeah, you mean like it being Tuesday?
Yeah, it's just Tuesday.
Yeah, what the hell's going to happen?
Nothing's supposed to happen on Tuesdays.
Well, the thing is, I think their new strategy is just bombard you with a lot of news.
On Tuesdays. Why?
I mean, like attack independent media or whatever. That way, they're always trying to just play defense. And if you're playing defense, it's almost a losing situation all the time. So they have.
Right, you don't have time to call out the mainstream media for their bullshit.
Yeah.
Because you're busy defending yourself from exactly that. Their bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, H.A. Goodman, I love him. But, like, all the stuff that he's been doing up until Jordan Charlton started attacking him, and then oops, and then David Cuckman and now someone else. I mean, he's got a lot to handle on right now, and then others are starting to pick things up, which is good. I mean, now we see Hard Bastard. I'm actually seeing a lot of other people out there starting to get going. Tim just interviewed 2 guys who are starting to get going. And we just had an independent media panel with Jamarla Thomas, Niko House, and Anomaly, and Holly Seeliger. She's doing stuff. She's trying to go into full time. So I'm glad. I mean, we're getting a lot of independent media starting to get going at this, and it's actually a lot worse than it was before. At least before, you can make some money on ads. Now it's all pretty much Patreon supported, really.
Yeah, if you want to do it full time, that's gonna probably be the case. Yeah.
It's gonna be tough. I mean, I'm kind of lucky now because I have parental leave, so I can kind of do stuff like this. But otherwise, I would be working full time. I probably wouldn't have as much time doing this as before. This is because I could just get stuff prepped while my wife is handling the baby stuff, so I could go back and forth.
Right.
But man, yeah, I can't imagine someone like Robert Brown from Bob TV. He has a full work job and does his videos part time. It's insane being able to do something like that.
Yeah, I'm finding it difficult because I work full time at the hotel, so I'm finding it difficult to make time to be able to budget to do my Kropotkin video series that I've been wanting to do for about a week or 2 now. Actually, I might, while we're talking, I think I might try my hand at writing a script or a basic outline for an intro.
Go for it, man.
So Momo Pineno is saying that breaking news: Jeff Sessions had offered to resign.
Yeah.
Offering? Oh, wow. That's so generous of you.
It's a guitar.
You know, if you really mean it, you can take the next step and actually do it.
Yeah, and actually do it. Yeah.
Just don't, please. I don't have the patience anymore, or for this showmanship. Just please go away. Hey, you're dragging this out for everybody else, and it's making my life miserable.
Okay, who's on? Do we just have 5 of us? No. I think I don't have the best view here. The Hollywood Squares. Ribbon.
No, we do have somebody up in the upper left.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we have Eric.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Eric's camera is very triggered right now, so he can't.
Oh.
All right, it's funny. I'm starting to put names to the chat and names to faces and everything. It's taking a bit.
Oh yeah, I forgot my webcam isn't attached to my computer. Huh.
Okay. So, I'm going to have to go back and watch Tim's show. What was the general gist tonight?
Do you have access to it?
Florida politics with Gator.
Oh, right. Miami Gator was on. Okay.
And also Elijah, and I can't remember his last name. He was the
one that got kicked out.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I now remember. I just didn't get home in time to see it.
I was recording a video.
Oh, okay. No.
49 minutes.
Oh, what do you
mean? The article. I'm thinking about maybe redoing it so I could try to cut off some time.
What are you talking about in it?
It's the hit piece on the hit piece from the Daily Banter.
That thing is awful to read through. There's so many grammatical and spelling errors.
Well, I archived it. That's probably why, because I didn't want this guy to make any kind of fucking money.
No. The reason I say that, I'm saying that he's a shit fucking writer.
Oh,
He's saying that it made it all the way to the Daily Banner page, all screwed up.
Yeah, they're fake news. Even I'm trying to think of.
They can't even hire a spelling editor. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because he probably wrote it while he was triggered.
Triggered! My name is Jeremy Fassler, and I'm so triggered.
I am a grammar Nazi.
Jeremy Fassler.
Oh,
That's what I say in
too.
the video.
The worst one, the one that drives me bananas, and everybody does it. Like even my doctor did it in an email. But the your and your, I don't know why, that just drives me nuts. But when people use Y-O-U-R when it's supposed to be apostrophe R-E, we'll do it all the time.
I can't be much of an English Nazi because basically the whole spelling thing on a computer has made me lazy.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, the auto spell and everything. Yeah, I hear you on that one.
I try to do all the spelling on my own. I do everything genuine. My tweets are usually genuine, all typed out on myself.
I type about the same speed that I speak. But the problem is the part of my brain that's listening to me think types the wrong one occasionally. or some other kind of gibberish.
Yeah, that's sometimes the way the news goes, Snork.
Also, have you noticed the complete lack of editing on CNN? All these should be major websites, and all of them have not even been proofread once.
Well, I mean, this is what happens when you no longer respect your audience. You just get fucking sloppy.
Yeah, it's like the story.
Say what you will about MSNBC, at least they fucking pay for their editors.
The one thing though about the writing these days, it's not just about writing. You always have to have some sort of image or video snippet or something associated with it, because people just kind of
let's not act like we're sinless in that regard.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just part of journalism now. It's not just the black and white newspaper print. It's you got to get their attention.
I would argue.
I think they shoot the video on the fly, and then somebody that's a temp from a temp agency probably types in the article.
The funny thing is that, well, I mean, according to Chomsky, I mean, the news has always been like this. It's just that now two things have happened. One is that they've begun to specifically market towards those biases. The second part is that we are much more aware that they are marketing towards our biases.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big fundamental shift in media. It's not that they suddenly became more biased. It's that they've always been biased, but now they've branched out their biases in order to fill market niches.
I'm curious though, Ayla, when Chomsky says forever, does he mean specifically since newspapers were, invented, or does he mean after FDR? What does he specifically mean by forever?
Well, to my understanding, and to be fair, this is from more or less, second, third hand readings of manufacturing consent. But essentially, the idea is that the media has always for as long as it's existed, has more or less served as the propaganda wing of the state in to one degree or another. Mm-hmm. Now, in olden times, and you still find it in some more totalitarian states to this day, is that the state controls the media, and so they basically it's a direct line of propaganda fueling. But in liberal democracy, you can't really do that, simply because it would be very clear when wants to the populace that their needs and issues are not being addressed. You can't really do it like that. So what happens in liberal democracies is that it's usually controlled by, it inevitably leads towards corporate control. It liberalizes and it caters to those specific biases in order to mask the propaganda aspect of its reporting.
Mm-hmm.
So it finds niches. And in the olden times, it was just nationalistic fervor that they were able to unify around. So it was very easy to create a cohesive narrative. But after the fall of the Soviet Union, and even towards the very end of it, we start noticing a sort of democratization of opinion without the central focus of America's imperial regime. We no longer had a rival. So what ends up happening is that the populace descends amongst itself as they look around at all the problems around them. And the media essentially fills those niches for varying narratives of why society's fallen. But at the end of the day, they serve the purpose of servicing the elites by providing propaganda for war efforts, bills that they feel would further enhance their interests for greater power and political dominance.
Right. It's psychological warfare on the citizenry.
Right. It's literally, as the title of the book was, it's manufacturing of consent.
Have you guys seen that little cartoon? I found it probably a month ago. It's narrated by Amy Goodman, but it's if you Google manufacturing consent, it's a little cartoon, and it's kind of trippy to watch. It's like little eyeballs that watch TV, and it's got the arms of the media, and it's really kind of bizarre, but it's a great little video. Like, kind of really makes you think, and it talks about how you're not in the club if you don't, go along with what they want you to report, that kind of thing. But yeah, just Google it. It should come up right away. It's like I think Google manufacturing consent, Amy Goodman. It should pop up.
Or Noam Chomsky.
Yeah, but I think because it's narrated by her for some reason, that's how I found it. But anyway, it's just like maybe a 5-minute little cartoon. I showed it to my 12-year-old.
All right, yeah. The official term for this concept is called the propaganda model, and it was developed by Edward Herman and Noam Chomsky to explain how propaganda works in liberal democracies.
Uh-huh.
And so there's four aspects. There's about 4 or 5 different aspects to this. First is who is the ownership. And so
right. Yep.
Our first part is ownership, right? So we have a media structure which is controlled by a very small, tightly knit circle of multinational corporations, business interests, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's not just enough to own them. The second part is because you have to pay for this. In a capitalist model, you still have to pay for the
right. So the advertising.
Right. That's where advertising comes in. So you get advertisers to pay for it. So you don't have to because if we had to pay for it directly, the price for acquiring media would be too exorbitant for it to be effective, for the propaganda model to be effective. So they rely on advertisers to subsidize their funding.
But us catching on to all this and figuring it out is we're just crazy alt-left people, right?
Oh, but once this happens, it forms the symbiotic relationship, which forms the third aspect of the filter. And then there's flack, and we're all very familiar about what flack is, because we've been dealing with it for the past 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of FLAC is that once you've established a narrative that favors the people that who you're advertising as well as your own personal goals, you're still going to have people who are going against the narrative. Well, that's where FLAC comes. So what FLAC is that it's a negative response within a media or institution or program that's specifically aimed at other narratives in order to squelch or shut down dissenting voices in the mainstream conversation. So this is what happened to Jimmy Dore not just last week, and it's still happening to H.A. Goodman to this day. They are attempting to put institutional and professional pressure on people like Dore and Goodman to basically shut up and go with the flow. And even if they don't shut up and go with the flow, then they'll be marginalized from the conversation enough that any contribution that they had could be written off as otherwise irrelevant. The last part we should be careful of is fear-based. And this ties it a little bit into FLAC. Before this, it was anti-communism, but since then, it's just fear. But as you know, the Soviet Union fell, anti-communism kind of fell out. So they needed a new thing, and now it's just sort of been generalized to just utilizing fear narratives. That's why you have stuff like, fear the Muslims, fear the terrorists,
Right.
fear
And
the
the
black
little-
people on the street, and being super angry about being shot by police.
Mm-hmm.
In the little cartoon, they show a little ghost that comes along. And it's a great cartoon. You got to watch it.
And I think add to that fear of losing their job, because once you start speaking out on certain things, you might get fired from your job.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of wondered that when Michael was finally laid off last August after 13 years at Cisco. He survived all the other layoffs. I'm like, you know, you did post all that stuff, you know, the coffin, the democracy coffin in Philly. You know, that was like all over Facebook and stuff. I don't really think that was it, but, you know, he got kind of vocal about stuff like that. He's working for a big corporation, you know.
There's nothing wrong with being vocal. More people should be vocal.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, could have rubbed somebody the wrong way. You know?
That's the truth that people are not supposed to say.
Yeah, people get triggered by the truth. It's actually true. I mean, honestly, I would get more pissed off at a lie than, honestly, I would rather take the truth as it truly is. I mean, the lie, they just want to put words into those lies, and they keep adding the words, and they just keep adding stuff that isn't there to those just, honestly, they're just crazy lies. Honestly, that's what the mainstream media does. Honestly, I recommend for people to cut the cords. I mean, they really do. They really need to toss the mainstream media right the fuck out. Pardon my French when I say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's verbal diarrhea that they spew on a daily basis.
Yeah, if they just keep spewing, they're not standing for anything. I'd rather stand with people like HA. He stands for something. The mainstream media just keeps spewing shit, and that's why they're having all these hit pieces on HA.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it's all nothing more than fake news. I stand by HA. He's a wonderful and amazing journalist.
Momo Paneno just said, I got fired from Disney because I thought 9/11 and the Iraq War was bullshit.
The worst part about this is just that
does Stevie have a mic tonight?
I think she's working on it.
I think. Can y'all hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you. It's a little staticky.
Okay, so I can't talk and have the video going at the same time, but no phone.
Are you just having tech issues? Are you technologically challenged like me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm banged up to my eyeballs and wires right now and cords. My grandma corded every single cord that she ever had in her life, and I'm going through every single one trying to see which one works.
Oh my gosh.
I'll figure it out eventually.
So I was saying before you came on that I'm going to be driving because I know I'm crazy. I drive long distances. So I think I'm actually going to be driving right through Charleston.
Oh, that's so cool.
Tomorrow. So maybe I'll send you a message on Twitter. I don't know. I have no idea what time it will be. It might be really late, but say, hey, come have a coffee or something.
That'd be neat.
Yeah, aren't you in? You're in Charleston, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm cutting over to Cincinnati, so like Southern Ohio, like up. I think it's up to Charleston and then over.
Okay, yeah. I think you have to go right through here.
Yeah. Yep. So, anybody have anything in particular on your mind? More just media talk? Or? Let's see. What's everyone saying in the chat? Okay.
I have no clue.
Hey,
What do y'all think about having like, I don't know, maybe like a hashtag or something like to where, I don't know, I kind of miss the chat. I miss a lot that goes on in the chat, and if there's a hashtag, then like we can check it later, you know? Like
yeah, I was wondering about that, to go back later and look at it, you know, scroll through the whole thing and kind of I'm just trying to monitor it a little bit as we go, so if people are like, hey, you know, stay on that subject or something.
Maybe went to
LaGrange, Georgia. Oh my God, I know that place. Momo Paneno. My husband's from Rome. I know LaGrange.
Okay, I'm here. You guys ready?
Sure.
Yeah.
Ready.
All right, so I don't know what's going on with Red's, and I call her Red because that's what her redneckonomics. I don't know what's going on with her system, but I think it does take a little bit of money to have a good system, to have a good mic, to have a good headset, to have this, that, and the other thing. So I was hoping maybe we can get a donate button together or something like that. If she needs it, I am more than welcome. I am more
That's a good plan.
than sure I would do something. And then I'm going to go back to reality, the winner of being the easiest NSA hack that I think the media, or excuse me, not the deep state, or the two-party oligarchy has just nabbed. I mean, the convenience for her to get picked up and supposedly she's the leak and this, that, and the other thing, and then all of a sudden, I think Rachel Maddow was gone for a little while. She was sick or something, but all of a sudden she's back, right?
Oh God, she would have come in if she had a busted hip.
Yeah, whatever the case may be, but I gotta say they're doing okay. So when you have the power and the ability and the connections and everything at your disposal, we're talking about a business that has trillions of dollars, or they can just freaking make money to make things happen. You can create hacks, you can create problems, you can create wars, you can create anything you want. And you guys were just talking about it. They create the ability to have people give us their okay to launch missiles and to create wars. Our consensus, not consensus. Give me the damn word. But anyway, it's just so overwhelmingly obvious that we are really being manipulated now more than ever. And when you have blatant lies like Seth Rich being shot and then taken to a hospital where he's still alive, you know, allegedly, and then all of a sudden 8 hours later he's dead, the police won't allow anybody in there to do anything or say anything, It's just one after another, and it's almost like they think we're not paying attention to the details.
Sorry, I gotta go for a second.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Kelley.
One thing I would say is, Frank Herbert, who wrote Dune and it's in Dune, is one of the characters says loyalty can't be bought, it's sold. And that's the only thing money can't buy is loyalty. So there are people who are loyal to the U.S. Constitution, loyal to the country, loyal to certain organizations or certain ideals. They can't be bought out. So that's one thing that the super rich oligarchy, trillions of dollars, can't buy. And there's a lot of people out there actually. It's just when it seems like we're low in numbers, no one wants to step out and find others until they find a lot more others out there, because then there's people watching each other's back. There's a little bit of protection when you have a big group, especially when you have a smaller group that has all the resources.
Sorry.
Okay, so you're saying that nobody has a price? Is that what you're saying? Because I mean, there are people out there. I would say the majority of people on this planet have a price. I mean,
but price to do what though? Like if you're gonna say lies on mainstream media, yeah, I'm pretty sure people have a price. Like you would say, like $2 million a year, you'd probably be okay with that. But do you have a price for bombing a village that has kids and babies and women?
Yeah, the money just keeps getting bigger. It as long as we're on a fractional reserve system, these people that are making the most money from all of this are running wild. Every time they make a transaction where they loan money out, they make 80% back the second they make the loan. So it's kind of hard to compete against that amount of money when they're constantly having more and more money to bribe more and more people. And the bribes, when you're getting a 80% profit without doing anything, the money they have available for bribes is incredible and just going up.
Is Red? Oh, there you are.
Yeah, that's why I always talk about money like a form of addiction, because once you get it, it's like, okay, well, it's kind of like this intoxicant, like you can't, you're not thinking properly, and you're like, oh yeah, we should go to war with this person or that person, but after a while, you need more of it to get that fixed, in order to stuff all that back down and to keep chilling like that.
Hey, Red, or Stevie, what do you need microphone wise? I'm just wondering. Like, my husband has all this stuff. I don't know, computer. I wonder if we have an extra, whatever it is you need. I'm driving through. I'll meet you at a coffee shop.
I've got 2 camcorders. I've got a digital camera. Something should work somewhere.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to do it.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess I would actually be no help in person. I mean, I could if we have something here, we could figure out what you need, bring it to you. But okay, you just need
I appreciate it. I think my grandma took care of me here with all this mess of cords.
Yeah. What are you on a desktop? What are you using? Oh.
I'm using a cell phone, but it doesn't have service on it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
But this is important to her. This is amazing.
Absolutely.
That Stevie, is that her real name? Is that what you call her, Stevie?
Yeah.
I'm just going to call her Red because I want to keep her identity secret.
Oh.
But the thing is you have, this is the thing, she has great things to say and just fantastic points of interest from a different part of this country, yet she has I can't even say it, it's like a half an atom of what the mass establishment media has to blurt out and throw out the tsunami of propaganda at any moment that they want.
Mm-hmm.
It's the saddest thing. We're just a small group of people, and we're going to post this on whatever media that like I do every night I'm here. I put it on my Facebook and my Twitter because I'm proud of it. I'm very happy that I'm not alone, in my views. And all of us are very similar. We all kind of want the same things, and we're all kind of striving and hoping and rooting for the same people. Yet we're nothing compared to what's out there. I mean, if they took YouTube down, there we go, right? If they took Facebook down, go ahead.
I would love to have Stevie come here and school a few people where I live because, my husband's from a small southern town area. I guess Charleston's not that small, but, they, like what she said, they were for Bernie and then they went for Trump. I mean, I have people around here that they do not believe that is possible. They do not think that's a thing at all. And so I wish, her voice should be heard more. It's
Me?
It's hard. It's hard to understand it because, even me being here around these people, I was one of those people that were like, "Oh, if you vote for Trump, you're just a racist." I bought into the narrative for a long time, and it wasn't until I actually started talking to people and listening to people that I understood. Okay, I see where they're coming from. It's about the jobs.
I'd like to bring up if you're going to be purchasing any equipment, I'm looking for a new webcam, and I went to the Amazon to buy one, and most of the webcams that are on sale there that say Windows 10 compatible are not going to be compatible by the end of the year. So far, the only one I see listed on there or two that I'm sure are the Microsoft LifeCam and the Microsoft LifeCam Studio.
Well, Snork, it really doesn't matter what operating system you use. Almost every camera can be compatible. I think even if
Windows, by the end of the year, they have to switch the type of service that's provided for it. And the one that I have here, actually a Microsoft Webcam 3000 is already unusable.
That doesn't sound right. Anyways, I would recommend getting away from the Microsoft line of cameras and go towards Logitech. Logitech C20, Logitech C25. Yeah. If you want to get to the better cameras, the Logitech Brio is the latest one. But definitely,
are you using the latest version of Microsoft's Windows? The one that
yes, I use Windows 10. I have
no, the Windows 10 that came out last month.
I'm still using Windows 8.
I mean, is there a specific
Windows 10 is on its
update
third version? They quit increasing the number because they were catching flack about it. So there was a recent update, and after that, my webcam quit working.
You might just need to download newer drivers.
They're not going to make the drivers they want you to buy the new cameres.
Oh, then don't buy the Microsoft cameras then. That's just a rip.
Yeah. Well, they also are a lot of the other ones. The newer Logitechs. Logitech is a good company. I trust them. What I'm saying though is that they switched the method of accessing, and they're not supporting the previous versions. Logitech probably, once they get a chance to test out equipment, they probably will put the drivers in for the older stuff, because their business is the secondary equipment. And but I do know that I'm just going with one camera that I know is operational because I currently do not have one. And that one unit has a microphone that has this what they call second layer, I believe, video. Old webcams spoke to your software, and the new webcams have a trade-off where they speak to your operating system, and your operating system allows multiple connections to your camera, where the old versions of cameras only allowed one version of contact.
Well, me, I like to always bring it back to economics.
Well, We'll talk about it offline, Snork.
Okay.
No, it's fine. I was going to say something about, keeping up with technology when you don't have the money to do that.
Yeah, it's $50 you got to spend to get a new camera. If I just don't want the hassle. I know I can get probably drivers somewhere that I would probably end up having to clean up the virus that I would get along with where I got the secondhand drivers, and I just want to get it out of the way and go for it. The Microsoft is a good quality equipment, but I find that they obsolete it often.
Well, I want to bore you with the same old, but I always do this. I got to bring it back to this. Again, my uncle, I hope he never watches this, but he says stuff like, well, all these poor people, everybody has a cell phone. And I'm like, do you not understand? People get contracts for that. It's not like most people sell out $600, out of pocket for that. But, when you have us, for example, my husband worked for Cisco for 13 years, and we were so behind on so much technology, honestly, because it just had to take a back seat. He had stuff, for work, but between medical bills and he's the only one working and, our scraping for 20 years. I mean, we didn't even have a decent digital camera. I think it was 2008 or 2009. When you're paycheck to paycheck, as Stevie, she talks about where she lives, a lot of people are keeping up with technology is very expensive and it takes a back seat.
Yeah, same here. I was very sad when they did this upgrade. Sorry, Stevie. I just barely hear that you're talking.
I was going to say, I haven't had a cell phone in 6 years. I got this one after my grandma passed away, and this was her old cell phone. So I use it for apps and stuff to be able to talk to people on Twitter and stuff. But it is rough. It is rough not having a cell phone.
Yeah, but that's the last thing. I mean, you got to pay your bills first, and I just think people have this misconception of, well, everybody's got internet and everybody has this and that, but if you're behind on that stuff, you're at a disadvantage.
I know when I was growing up, I played Atari when the other kids were playing Super Nintendo. So, they were like, oh, yeah, have you tried this new game yet? And I'm like, I don't know. Wait 10 years, I'll get to it. When it's marked down.
When I was in Illinois, I would get free motherboards and other equipment for building computers just for going in and go to the conferences. Leaving Illinois, not being able to get the free version of all the tech really kind of hurts me.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been technical, and I think it's difficult for me to relate to people who aren't. I mean, my wife is pretty bad at it, but yeah, I'll fix motherboards, I'll fix video graphics cards. Most of it's simple, and just build computers, overclock them, or even underclock them, or not underclock them, lower the voltage on them so they're more efficient, etc. Anyways, I won't go into it. Maybe one day I'll have a computer techie talk after hours.
You could probably do what is that, CNET or something.
No, not
Tech Talk with Eb and Kim.
But
you did all that before you had kids, right? I mean, you were.
Yeah, like the guy DeFango, right? He's talking because he's fixing his computer right now. He fixed his computer or built his own computer when he was maybe 7 or 9, he said. And I think it was the same way with me. I think I built my first computer when I was 10 or 11.
Yeah, I my first one when I was 10.
Yeah.
But back then we had to make the motherboards.
Yeah, it's probably a lot different from when I was 10 compared to when you were 10, Snork.
I never built a computer, but I would be very interested into building.
Yeah, it's a lot easier these days. It really is.
Oh yeah.
It's a tower. If you have a tower, it's like changing a battery, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just really compartmentalized nowadays. So it's.
When I was in college, the bathtub would always be extremely yellow stained at the bottom because I would actually catch my motherboards in the bathtub when I was making them in college.
Whoa.
Wow.
Well, Michael would always be like, "We need this thing or that thing," and I'm like, "We need to buy diapers." That's really, I mean, we have a 19-year-old, so we were in our 20s when our older daughter was born, so there was no money for. Here he was working in IT, and really, in a lot of ways, couldn't keep up with some of it because we just couldn't afford to buy all the gadgets, But
What's funny? Oh, sorry. What's funny is you can build a very, very fast computer, use parts. That's going to be tons cheaper than the latest Android phone or iPhone. I mean, those things cost what, $700, I think, when they're new, and that's without a plan. And yeah, you could build your own computer for like probably like $350.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, there's stuff like that Michael's done. I'm not even going to try to explain it. I don't know. So with Linux servers and stuff, boxes of things, but there also was no time when you have little kids. So
yeah, I'm trying to build Momo one. I'm sorry, Momo. I'm getting to it, but I'm always with the baby, and if I'm not doing this, I'll get it to you, Momo. It's been like almost a month, I think, since I said I was gonna get him a computer, but I didn't get to it yet. Okay, wait.
you have good reason there.
Yeah, I think I have to build my daughter
Everything's
one next month.
understandable.
Yeah, they kind of take
Roland gives you a reminder.
What was that? Sorry.
I was saying babies take over.
Oh yeah, they do. But when they get old enough, they'll start making computers for me.
Yeah, kids are much more fun once they're potty trained and they're a little self-sufficient. Like I just got mine to that point where like we can play games together and like talk and stuff. That baby stage, I do not miss it at all.
Yeah.
Also, when you drop those little screws into the case, having a daughter with small hands is really good for reaching it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Child labor.
Also, when you drop those little screws into the
all right. What's next?
Let's see what's on the chat here. Talking about nationalism.
Someone's got some feedback.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm making noise.
What was
I was
that?
reaching down the freeway.
I sent that tweet out with those articles about fusion centers because I saw, what's his name for TYT Politics. He was talking about them watching Standing Rock, and it seemed like he was surprised that they would have been doing that, but that's why I sort of gave a long list of different articles, because there's been a lot written about it, about fusion centers and how they're used.
Wait, can you elaborate on that, Broken Carpenter? I think I saw something about that, but I don't. Hold on, I gotta pull that up. You want to elaborate about that?
It was a tweet I sent to you guys.
Oh, okay.
Anyhow, it's set up by the DHS and state and local authorities, and the FBI, and everybody else is involved in it. And it's basically like the regional cop shops, and spy shops for the police and for what they would call critical infrastructure, but they do as much warning malls that there might be a protest in their mall, or doing things that support. They support corporations, not necessarily people.
Imagine that. Okay.
Anyhow, it's like a bunch of stuff. You could read through them, and they'll do a much better job of explaining it than I could ever do. So.
Okay.
You said it's on Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll check it
I
out.
think I twittered it at her too. I think I did, Stevie.
Hey, is the connection okay? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you're great.
Crystal.
Okay, so I do not ever think there's nothing to talk about in regards to, I mean, it's a big planet. There's tons of things happening. We're moving around the solar system at what, 20,000 miles an hour, and much faster compared to whatever galaxies floating out there. So there's just tons going on. I think the biggest thing that I think we always talk about, and I know that I like to always bring it up, is how the manipulation in the media keeps happening. Thus, why we're on saying what we say all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Ilios brought it up, Snork brought it up, Red definitely brought it up, Evan Kim. I haven't heard I think Dominic said something the other night. Christian, I'm sure has a lot to give to that. Where did Red go? She's gone.
I'm here.
But that's the reason why I think you guys have been doing this for how long?
Well, just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and it's doing great because this is, I think, what a lot of people want to do. I think a lot of people want to put all these dots together and connect all these puzzle pieces and find out, oh, you know what? This just doesn't make sense. And this killing doesn't make sense. And this bill is just ridiculous. And it just goes on and on and on. It's just piling up. It's just like it's not even a domino effect anymore. It's just, I don't know how to say it. It's a plethora of galactic proportions of baloney. You know, it's just crazy, and that's why we're here.
Does anybody on here have has anyone looked at like who's going to be at the People's Summit? Presumably, we're going to be able to talk to people and ask questions. So if anybody wants to toss one at me, if I get a chance, I'll certainly ask it. If anybody...
you know, you left last night, and we went and I went online and told the group who was going, and of course, Rogue Hana is going to be there, and then on the other end of the spectrum, you're going to have.
I wonder if they'll hound him.
Yeah,
They might.
I think it. Well, there's going to be a lot of. I mean, Bernie's going to be there, and a few other people, and the way I perceived it is you're not going to have your typical Hillary people there. I don't think they're going to have a great welcoming.
I hope not.
I know Perez isn't going to be there, but I do believe they're going to have just a little bit more left leaning and a little more progressive, which people haven't really defined progressive. I mean, the people that are going to be there are pretty progressive, but I think progressive is us. I really believe we are far more like H.A. Goodman, Niko, Jamal, Tim Black, and the rest of us, you know, Hard Bastard, and all these guys, and we follow them. I think we're just far more progressive, and which, you know, leans more towards the Greens.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we definitely are. There's a segment of people that are far more progressive than what's going to be showing up at this summit for sure. There's going to be some.
It looks like there's a lot of TYT people there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm a little worried about. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Josh Fox will be there, and Jordan will be there. I really like Emma. I never see her. I don't know if you guys know who Emma is. She's one of Jock's Josh Fox. She's only on when Josh is around. Not Josh. She's only on when Jordan is around, which is kind of sad. You guys know who Emma is? I don't know her last name.
Yes.
I see sometimes.
Yes.
Well, besides the fact that she's extremely cute, she has some really good rants, and she's still learning. You can tell. But all in all, I think all of us. I mean, pick a topic, guys. I mean, there's just so many things out there. I mean, I was just thinking about the collusion that's happening earlier with this reality winner person that you guys were talking about earlier. I mean, how convenient is all this just to happen when I think the pressure for Seth Rich is really building up? You know, I think that's part of it. I think they're trying. They're trying. Well, you know, it's the old look over there so I can pick your pocket kind of thing, right? It's like, okay, here's another distraction, you know, just to keep us off the focus, or because once we start looking in the direction of absolute fact and absolute truth, where they know we're getting close to it, they'll find a way to distract us, you know, and we know who they are. And I think I brought it up. And surprisingly to me, I was kind of one of those. I was a Rachel Maddow fan. You know, a year ago, I was like, "Yeah, Rachel, you know, she's the bomb," and I was just all into MSNBC. And then all of a sudden, things started happening, and I just started, you know, opening my eyes more and doing my own research and my due diligence and investigating more, because that's kind of in my blood.
I was a Maddow watcher too. I'm embarrassed to admit now, but you know what? She lost me quite a long time ago, because it was over the stupid Chris Christie Bridgegate crap. Because I don't like Chris Christie really, but that was just like, I remember going, why are we still talking about this shit? Like over and over and over, night after night after night after night. And to me, it was such a stupid thing. Okay, they caused a traffic jam on a bridge. I understand it was a problem. I guess somebody couldn't get through with an ambulance. It was not cool, but it didn't warrant like a month of news coverage every fucking night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they strung it out. They CNN strung it out. Go ahead, Christian. Sorry.
I was just going to chime in really quickly. My favorite part about that whole thing, you know, I'm from New Jersey. So, yeah. But my favorite part about the whole Bridgegate thing was when Jimmy Dore did that segment of how somebody...
Uh-oh, you froze.
No.
Somebody call them a fat motherfucker.
You'd have to repeat that. You froze.
Please repeat, because you froze for a little bit there, buddy. There he goes again.
Uh-oh. You actually froze.
Shit.
Thing was when Jimmy...
Oh.
Damn.
I know, right? Christian started talking about
fuck. And only to be corrected, like, no, judge, like it was in court. They were reviewing this, I think, in court about Bridgegate and whatnot. I don't remember, you know, exactly, but it's something along the lines of that. And then I was like, oh, so you called him a fat fuck, right? Like, no, judge, I actually called him a fat motherfucker. Correction, a fat motherfucker.
But wasn't it just, it was like nonstop to me. That was when I really realized that Rachel Maddow, that this was a strategic takedown of Chris Christie. That's what that was. And that's when I realized, like, this is not news. Like, when I first started watching her, I didn't listen to Air America really, but I kind of started watching MSNBC probably for about a year. But I liked, because, you know, they put the documents up on the screen, and I feel like, okay, I can read this, and she would show proof of this, you know. But after that, she lost me way back then, because even though I don't like, you know, I'm not a Chris Christie fan, I just thought, this is not news. This is, you know, a planned attack on him, and it worked. He was pretty much, I mean, didn't that really hurt him politically? Just a nonstop.
Yeah, the media annihilates.
I just want to chime in, guys, really quickly. Have you guys ever seen that piece that Conan O'Brien did years ago where he literally showed dozens upon dozens of news stations around the country repeating the exact same line?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, so you guys have seen that, right?
Mhm,
Yeah,
yep.
everybody. That's awesome. Yeah, they all say the same thing. It was interesting because, and that happened not just with the big established media outlets, MSNBC.
Local news as well.
It was at the county and city levels too.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like everybody got the memo.
Yeah.
Well, and that kind of stuff, that'll happen more when Sinclair Broadcasting takes over a bunch more local stations.
Well, for me, the final straw with Maddow was during the debate with Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Hillary got to go first, so the constellation was that the Bernie got to go last. And he came up with some statement that really skewered her at the end. I mean, just blew her away. So in the middle of the night, she went over to Hillary Clinton's house and got a rebuttal, which to me blows the rules of the debate altogether. That meant that Hillary, in essence, got the start and the end, and she got a half hour to formulate an answer to go up against Bernie. And I quit listening to MSNBC after that.
Stevie, you were going to say something?
Bitch.
Stevie?
Don't like Rachel
okay.
Maddow.
I don't remember what I was saying.
Oh, sorry. I can't hear when you're talking.
Oh, sorry.
No, I mean Stevie. She's real cool.
Here, can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm a little bit closer to the mic.
Hey, I'm gonna be heading off to bed now. I've got work tomorrow morning.
All right,
All right,
Alice.
have a good one.
Thank you very
Bye,
much.
Alice. Thank you.
Take care.
Night.
See you when we see you.
What were you saying about Sinclair Media or something?
Sinclair Broadcasting. It's an outfit that's owned by a right wing. Like I'm pretty sure Sinclair even cuts like movies that have already been cut for TV.
Mhm.
They cut those movies.
Mm.
I mean, they like bleep words in like a Columbo show kind of thing. So, but I mean, they're really, really conservative, and they're going to own more of the local broadcasting stations across the country. They were
I'll
looking
watch
to
Little
merge.
House on the Prairie or something.
It could be.
I just dated myself, didn't I?
I think it's Jimmy Kimmel has the inappropriate censorship. You got to watch that, where they'll take like a Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and they'll bleep words in the sentence.
Right.
It totally changes the flavor of the story.
It's a beautiful day in the. I heard a beautiful day in the. Beep, beep.
I think the count censored from Sesame Street when he's talking about how much he loves counting, and they censor him out. Oh, that one's priceless.
I haven't seen that. I'll have to check it out.
Sinclair Broadcasting Group is at $33.95 a share. They're going to take over. They're going after Fox. Right, Broken?
They're going after a bunch of. I thought they were trying to run a deal to go after another large local TV conglomerate company. You know.
Oh yeah, the Tribune Media.
That's it.
Yeah, but and then they're supposed to. I didn't mean like literally duke it out. I mean duke it out with what they're going to be having with Fox. That's I misspoke. It's like they're not taking over Fox.
Oh, yeah, and I didn't take it that way. I was under the but I knew it was a local. Yeah, Tribune is the one I remember.
So the arrival. And this just kind of. I mean, what back in the Zork, you probably know this, but back in the 70s or late 70s, I think there were 50 different separate independent broadcasting companies. Now there's 6 or something. I mean,
yeah, and hold on to your socks. What we did to corporate broadcasting, we're getting ready to do with the trucking industry right now, where one driver will be driving 10 to 15, maybe 100 trucks.
Can you explain what that? How does that?
Ford, Mercedes, GM. I can't think of all the manufacturers that are involved in it, but basically there'll be a room full of drivers in India, and the trucks will be automated. The tests are going on in Ohio and New Mexico, so the trucks will have a driver take them from being parked to getting onto the road. Once they're on the road, they'll turn it over to automatic driving, and it'll go. For now, New Mexico is limiting it to the time that the vehicle is on the interstate. So it's not going to be all the roads at first. It's just going to be on the interstate.
Are you talking about the big transfer trucks?
Yeah, like drone trucking.
Yes, it's like drone trucking, but they're going to be driver assisted. When they're parking and stuff like that, they'll be remote driven, but the drivers will be in India.
But how do they? I mean, there's going to be a big factor of delay.
7 seconds.
And then not only that,
texting. That's actually worse than texting.
Yeah, and then you get the connection goes away. What happens?
They feel that it's only going to be happening. The trucks are going to be going slow when they're being driven by the parking lot. I'm not writing the rules.
Yeah, I know. It's not like a 20-ton semi going 5 miles per hour is going to be safe.
This is my last road trip.
Right, but the people writing the rules are the ones that want to get it done, not the ones that want to make sure it's safe. So, but the test that's going on right now in New Mexico, the drivers get it to the road, and then the trucks take over. And then if there's problems in computer terms is called an exception. If something happens like an accident or a deer jumps out into the vehicle or they wipe out a school bus, they call that an exception.
But can't they get sued for that? For damages?
Well, again, what's going to happen? Who's driving it and where were they? And what jurisdiction were they in?
But that shouldn't matter because the physical aspect is still there.
I know, but it gets fuzzy. Now, right now, if a truck is doing something bad, it gets pulled over, and the driver might get dinged on his license. They're going to at least check the driver to see if the driver has had less than 10 hours of driving, at least 8 hours of sleep, and has a medical ticket. Now, are they going to be able to do that for everybody in India? And when they don't, how are they going to check to make sure? So the actual enforcement is going to get really difficult once you go international. It's even going to be difficult once you get interstate. But the trucks are basically going to be considered to be self-driving until there's an exception. And then a driver will be alerted to come over. The truck is supposed to nicely turn over to the side of the road and wait for a driver to handle the exception. And a lot of times when there's trucks, it's an eighth of a second, not 7 seconds.
Yeah, and I don't think that's going to really
7 seconds is even enough time to put down your tea.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, people are already afraid of.
The test is already undergoing.
Yes, I know.
In New Mexico.
Once you get to the point of, well, what if there are terrorists that control these vehicles, type of thing.
That's exactly my thought is, well, hey. And it doesn't even have to be the vehicle with the hazardous material. It's the truck that rams into it.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't help but thinking two smart guys playing bumper cars across the world, man.
Well, I'm very concerned on the 7-second delay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm
Okay,
concerned about
there's
just
a
the
lot of concerns.
idea.
Yeah.
The idea of this period is just insanity.
Yeah.
I mean, one
Well,
day we are going to hit drones, but I think we should practice drones with driving and flying and maneuvering on like a 24 scale model.
well, we are in a
Like-
free
like
scale
hot-
right now, or free fall right now of regulations.
Yeah, it's just insane. It's
But
insane.
the thing is, they're going to argue that pretty soon, by the time this is in major usage, we're going to be on that cross Atlantic fiber, and they're saying with cross Atlantic fiber, we're not going to have the second delay. But there will still be some delay. I just think that anytime the driver is not 100 dedicated to it, if he's got 10 trucks, if he's got 100 trucks he's maintaining, what are the odds are that he's already doing something that he will not be available to handle another exception? And you yourself, if something falls in the other room and you have to go out and take care of it, it takes you a second to get into the room and see, okay, what fell? And that's going to be the situation is, it can take a human quite a few seconds to jump into a situation. And also during an exception, you don't know what's wrong.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to take off. I think it's way off in my opinion.
I never thought that W would be president when my uncle told me. In 1996, my uncle called me and told me that W was going to be president. And I thought, okay, he's crazy.
I guess it just depends on whether or not it's cost efficient. Because I mean, if the bottom line, I mean, like they don't care about the lives that it costs, but or the jobs, but if it profits their bottom line, then that's all that matters.
It's
They'll get it
really,
done.
really, really profitable.
And they're already talking about going totally driverless anyhow.
Yeah.
So the idea of having even a checkup driver is one step above what they're talking about a lot.
Yeah, that's scary too.
And that's so sad because a lot of these coal miners that were out of jobs went into trucking. And so, now yet again, their jobs are going to be threatened with, automation.
Yeah, there are 3.5 million truckers in the United States, and most of them are slated for replacement. I would say at least 85% within 5 to 7 years.
Dominic, weren't you a trucker?
I've drove truck 35 years.
So what are your thoughts about this?
I can actually see it happening, because the way the trucking industry evolved, and you read the articles back then, it was mostly company trucks, and then you had a whole different setup as far as how things were run. Like they used to warehouse stuff, so you would take solid loads to a place and unload there. Now it's down to like just-in-time delivery, where you got to have that stuff there that day, or things start shutting down for these places. And if the truckers ever wake up and find out the power they have, a one-day strike would shut down a lot of these big plants because they don't inventory. And I think that's probably on the minds of those who control things. If you get a chance to take that power away, they're going to do anything they can. And the thing back then, it said, well, you're in the future, I'm going back into the 90s now, maybe the early 80s. And they were saying in the future, you're not going to see many trucking companies. You'll have long haul trucks, and you'll have like local companies that deliver to like stores and shops. And that's what it's actually evolved into. You don't see many unionized or large company trucks that are actually hauling a lot of freight. It's mostly the over-the-road trucks that are doing it. And they put a lot of people out of work that way. So that's why I think they got rid of Jimmy Hoffa. Like Jimmy Hoffa, he told Bobby Kennedy, hey, he goes, I got more power than you. I could shut down this country, which he could. And I think that was actually his demise, because Hoffa, he controlled the Teamsters. Back then, the Teamsters controlled the trucking, and he could have shut the place down. So I think they would do anything they could to eliminate that threat, because that's something right now that could really hurt them.
Do you think truckers know about what's going on with the new driver?
No, they endorsed Debbie Wasserman Schultz, one of the leaders for it.
Some of them do, but a lot of them don't. I don't think they're really aware of what's going on. They weren't aware back then. Those guys just want to go out and do their job and get back home. But the thing is, it's something that it's going to eliminate a lot of jobs, and it's going to take a lot of control away from the working people.
Is there a central point of contact for truck drivers somewhere? That
not really. There should be and that's the other thing. When back in the I guess it was late 70s, early 80s, when they had the big fuel crisis. The independents went on strike, because they couldn't afford the fuel. Well, the Teamsters wouldn't honor the strike, and I was just a driver then. I went to the union hall. I said, why aren't we honoring this strike? That has an impact on the companies we're working for. Well, they're not Teamsters. They're not with us. I said, that doesn't make any difference, whether they're with us or not. We're all in the same craft here. We have to watch out for what's happening for everybody. And they just would not even want to hear it. They were running when if we would have shut down when they shut down, because that's when the Teamsters still had a large chunk of the industry. That would have made a big difference, but it just wouldn't happen, because at that time, the Hoffa wasn't in control of the Teamsters. That was back when Jackie Presser was in. Jackie Presser was a real tool, he was a gangster, and he was controlled, by the government, because they could have put him in jail anytime. So, we lost a big opportunity there.
Yeah.
That's fascinating, though. I'd never heard that about Hoffa and all the stuff I don't know.
Now, most of the large assembly plants have contracts with alternate sourcing. For instance, if trucking between Texas and Illinois had shut down a factory, we would have arrangements with a non-union transfer company to put it on an airplane and get us enough to get by 2 or 3 days.
In some cases, maybe, but
we couldn't do it if all of the units did it. But we frequently, if there was a snowstorm, would drop down to our alternate delivery, and it would usually be in place within 4 hours.
I don't see that happening. There's just too much freight, too much stuff going. Airlines couldn't handle it all. And who are you going to get to do it?
We couldn't handle it all, but for, let's say, every, in a just-in-time factory, everything would have the same importance. Almost anything except for a few nuts could be something that would shut us down. And I could say the cost for being shut down would be somewhere in a range between $20,000 to $100,000 a minute, and the checkbooks open really fast.
Hey, somebody on the chat is saying, "Don't fall asleep, Kelley." I think they can tell. It's kind of my headache. So because I have to drive tomorrow, I'm going to sign off now. But I'll probably be listening. I'm just going to lie down and kind of check out. So great to see you all, and sorry I'm short when I'm hosting, but I don't think it really matters. We're all talking, right?
Yeah, that's okay. You have yourself a wonderful night. Have a good rest.
Bye, Kelley.
Drive safe
Stay
tomorrow.
safe.
I will, and
Stay safe tomorrow. Have
Steve,
fun.
I may send you a message on Twitter if I'm coming through at a reasonable hour or something.
Oh, okay. Always be around.
Okay.
Even when I'm asleep, I'll try to be around.
Okay. Good
All
night.
right, have a good one. You take care.
Get some rest.
Thanks.
If I was sent in to look at a problem, they would pretty much do a day's supply at the factory, and rather than waiting for the time it'd take for a truck to get there, they would because of the cost was so extreme, they would put it right on a plane and do what they used to call Delta Dash, where they would actually send components in the airline cabinet as a passenger. So they'd send a case of, or a box of whatever up, and an engineer would be sent to the airport, and all kinds of materials. I once got a bunch of polycrystalline microdiamonds from Russia, which meant they were basically made with explosives and fire them up, and there's always this explosive residue left in them. And I went to go to Delta Dash, and I see the customs dog with police officers waiting for me at the Delta Dash. And I started thinking about, oh, great.
Because they can sniff that stuff out.
What's that?
The dogs can sniff that stuff out. It's
well, yeah. I mean, they're explosive dogs.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there used to be all kinds of things. I don't think Delta Dash is still done because of terrorism. But we'd pay people to get on a plane, buy a passenger ticket. As long as they had one paying passenger with them, we could go. And we had to pay extra per seat. It was like 3 times the regular plane ticket cost. And they would fill up, not the cargo hold, the passenger area. We would buy passenger tickets.
That's crazy. Yeah. Hey, so here's the thing. So if you guys go on Google Maps and look up Foothill Ranch, California, you will see a freeway called the 241. It's this pay to drive on toll road was created by a French company that banked a lot of money and got the local legislators to build it. But anyway, they had advanced the on and off ramp to the freeway is so simplistic and so quick and efficient. But they designed it like 10 years ago compared to what we have now. So in regards to the trucks moving quicker, in regards to the trains moving quicker and planes, I know that Zork and I know that Dominic and most of some of us here understand the Army Corps of Engineers and how they are always late to the party, and that they actually design our freeways and our roads, and they don't make them right. So what's really happening is if we don't make things quicker, more simpler, and easier when it comes to how we transport food, transport people, transport products, that's going to be a problem. But that's probably the reason why they want to bring drones out.
Yeah. James, is the problem with the American Corps of Engineers the engineers, or is it a government problem, I guess?
Do you, Zork, do you know more? You know about what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I do. What is the primary purpose?
Sorry, he knows more than me.
Yeah. Well, am I muted?
Nope.
What is the primary purpose of the interstate highway system?
Transport goods?
No.
Emergency bomber landing.
That is correct.
10
10 miles has to have 2 miles of usable runway space for a B-52.
What?
When was this?
That was the original. Go back to the 50s.
Okay.
Look up. Let's see here.
I knew Broken knew this too. Sorry, Broken.
Interstate.
Oh, it's all right.
Interstate usability rules. Is that what it's called? That's also why every interstate has to have concrete 10 inches deep.
To support something that heavy.
To support the landing of a large aircraft. I'm not sure if it was originally intended for B-52 or was it originally intended for a B-36.
I don't know that. I just knew that it was for bomber landing.
Well, it's for a large bomber, and I think
for aircraft landing.
I'm not sure what they specified because I'm got to go back and look at the original thing of it. But the guidelines for maintaining a interstate, I believe, still have the every 10 miles must be 2 miles capable of landing.
Okay, so the Army Corps of Engineers design the freeways and the roads.
They basically did the rules for the design. The roads that are not in the 2 mile zone have to be able to support convoys of vehicles carrying tanks.
Yeah, what Evan Kim is asking is, and I kind of know the answer, but I'm thinking the question is basically, how come we have roads and freeways I've lived around LA all my life. And if anybody's going to drone pilot a truck, it should be me. I'll tell you right now, because I know how to drive in the most disgustingly crazy and nuts places to drive. We have freeway chases like every other month. And besides that, we have, I think there's like 2 or 3 places in Los Angeles and Orange County that have the highest congestion of traffic. But it seems like the Army Corps of Engineers who designed these roads are should have, that I believe do it years in advance, are always late to the party, meaning that it's not wide enough. It's not, the off ramps aren't made properly. The on ramps aren't made properly. And when I brought up Foothill Ranch, when this private company came in and designed this, from France, designed this on and off ramp structure, it's just so free flowing and perfect. It's not a roundabout, but it's something similar.
Is that the one in Foothill, California?
Yeah, Foothill, California.
Yes, there's one that has really unusual on and off ramps and transfer ramps.
Right.
And it's like 3 or 4 layers. So you've got lanes going over lanes going over lanes. And not only did you get around the clover leaves that we have up here, you have the X's going across the middle.
Exactly.
And there's also an inclusion on it for emergency vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, a very, very well designed road. I have problems with roundabouts. It's not a roundabout.
Yeah.
To be a roundabout is like a accident blender.
You have to understand, like, one thing about highways is there's like a zillion steps to getting a highway approved. You have to have the base underneath the highway to be able to support a highway. You have to be able to do it in an ecologically friendly way. There's a whole bunch. If you have to pass over water, that's other issues. There's a zillion different issues that happen building a highway, building bridges. And so that's why sort of they have, and the Army Corps of Engineers does a lot of things like dams and levees and things like that. And these, like, I'll give you an example. I worked on, when I was first starting as an apprentice, I worked on I-476. It's a what do they call them? A bypass of Philly. And it goes up from 95 and then meets up to 76 north of Philly. So you can pass around it, That thing was on the books for like 26 years before it got built. It was called the Blue Route because the original color on the map was blue. And that's about all that stayed from the original plans. Things change, and so The idea of sort of building highways on the cheap, that doesn't really happen. I mean, you build a highway for the what are the archaeologists. You build a building for the ages. You build those for the archaeologists. So.
Yeah, I get it. Well, I understand. Everybody's always pissed at the Army Corps of Engineers because when I'm in a traffic jam, I'm thinking, God, it's taking me 45 minutes to an hour to get 12 miles. Pisses me off. But the thing is, in regards to
it's untrue.
This just goes back to us.
Good night, Christian.
Oh, good night, Christian.
Good night, Christian.
Good night, Christian.
Thanks for listening in, bro.
Snoop says
tolerating my baloney.
Snoop says the rule for aircraft is untrue, but I'd heard it for so long. I'm not sure.
I always accepted it as true too.
And Eisenhower himself stated the primary reason was to evacuate systems, evacuate citizens if cities got nuked.
Okay, so the infrastructure is huge, and then we have all this money going to war. There it is. All money goes to war, just billions and gazillions and trillions of dollars to war. And then there I am stuck in traffic for freaking 45 minutes for an hour.
The biggest difference since Chicago came was when we started doing open tolling. And you didn't have to stop at toll booths anymore. Everything was a parking lot every day for hours. And if you didn't, we had to be at work at 8 o'clock. And if there was a certain road that if we weren't by it by 7 or 6:20, we had no hope of being at work less than an hour late. They did the open tolling, and you can drive around Chicago a lot of times without ever having to even slow down.
Yeah, I detest tolls. I think taxes should pay for roads, period.
Yeah, I agree.
There should be no tolls. Nobody should be at the side of the road because they can't afford their toll. Waiting for somebody to deliver them $1.38 or wait until they can come up with $1.38.
Not only that, in Illinois, if you cannot pay with electrically, you have to pay twice the amount if you use cash.
Oh, jeez.
Do they have alternate routes that you can take that's a non-toll road?
Well, if you accidentally get on one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. They're marked toll when you go to get on them. Okay. But if you don't notice that, or your GPS tells you to turn right, it might not.
Yeah, so where we're at, and the look it up, is the 241 and the 73 freeway, and they made it about the same time, about 10, 12 years ago. What they actually had toll booths until about 3 or 4 years ago, and then now they just snap a picture of your license plate and they send you a ticket if you don't pay it within 5 days. There's actually a sign on the side of the road as you're going to a certain area where you better pay that toll, or excuse me, you better be prepared to have that withdrawn from your debit card. This actually happens here in Southern California, where if you don't pay it, it becomes a fine, which not only will they fine you, not only will you have to pay the toll, which it's not cheap, by the way, for this place. This is $3 to $5 to $6 at times, and on a Monday it could be $7 to get through this thing. Okay, so as soon as, if you do not pay when you go through, or you don't contact the .com or the .org or whatever you're supposed to do to pay within 5 days, they send you a bill, and they'll find you through your through your license plate, and you get that bill, and there'll be a fine that you have 30 days to pay from there. And if you don't pay from there, then it jumps up substantially. And I mean, it's a moneymaker, because I know I've missed it a couple times. I think I paid the fine was like, I got up to, no, don't laugh, like $80.
Well, we found out that my son's transponder is working intermittently, and he has 48 unpaid tolls. And they just forgave us the fines because they showed that he had a toll, a transponder in the vehicle during that time, and that it was paying for some of the tolls but not all. So they forgave us like $100 toll for each time, or $100 fine each time, and but he still has like $180 in tolls got to pay.
Do we still? I don't even know if they still have transponders. Do they for this? Yeah, they do. Yeah, they still have them for here.
If you have a transponder, it goes to your bank account. If you have it will take a picture of your license plate and send you a ticket if you don't have the transponder. They want you to have the transponder because it's an easier, more secure method for them.
Well, yeah, okay. So the transponder, I know this is getting boring, but this is the system that we're going to be looking forward to in the future in a more privatized country, because this place that we're living in is for sale. So when you do have the transponder in your car, you will get automatically dinged in your bank account. But if you don't have it, then they give you 5 days to pay. I didn't.
Well, Illinois at one point had talked about all roads toll.
How do you feel about that, Broken?
Yeah.
You can imagine how I feel about it. You know, it's like these idiots that want to sell parts of our infrastructure to foreign or to companies, you know, or to banks, and allow people to own a stretch of highway and charge, you know, tolls to make up for it. I don't think so, man. You know.
Yeah, that's actually what happened to the 241 over here, and the 73 is that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. And these guys made bank. But it's just you know, I don't know how to say this, guys, but when the contractors come in and the lobbyists come in and they start whispering in our legislators' ears, you know, make this happen and your son goes to a private school. Make this happen and I'll make sure you get that Cadillac, you know, for your wife. You know, make this. It's just, it's hard to believe that even though they're going to start green, even as a Green Party candidate, it's even. I mean, and I'm watching some kid Trejo, Trejo or whatever his name is, who's so young, but he's running for a Senate position or a House position, a representative position. I don't know. Anyway, but he's so young, and I'm thinking, wow, it's just people can be bought. You know, I mean, as strong as he is on liberal and progressive views, I mean, I've watched it unfold in front of my face, people being bought. You know, and I'm a firm believer that when Bernie went to the DNC convention, he made a deal with the devil.
I agree there too.
Yeah. But Red was going to say something. Now she's got to disappear.
All right.
What time is it?
It's almost 12:30.
Oh shit!
It's kind of a short one, but I guess we have the rest of the week to talk about lots of stuff, and especially the summit coming up for this weekend. There will definitely be a lot to talk about during the weekend.
Oh, big time.
Yeah. So
hey, I got one last question.
Sure.
Is there a way we can influence the people that organize the summit to include HA, Tim, Niko, Jamal, you know, Bastard, you know, Debbie? Just is there a way? You know what I'm going to do tomorrow night? I'm going to bring phone numbers so we can call the organizers just to bring in the real progressives and see. I want to see what happens.
Okay. Why not?
I know that's a stretch, but I'm just gonna give it a shot.
I mean, Tim made it. Jamal got a press pass. Same thing with Niko. So they are there to
Observe.
ask questions too, and observe.
Yeah.
And Tim is going to be filming a lot of stuff, so that's going to be awesome.
Okay, good. Okay.
And it's the Tuesday. It's the Tuesday before it's happening, so I would say we're sort of crimping them for time to be adding or subtracting. You know what I mean? But anyhow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, you'd want to deploy. We would have wanted to do this, months in advance.
Yeah.
But I think I just want to plant a seed in their ear that a lot of real progressives will be paying attention.
Yeah, but you don't want these fringe conspiracy theorists to be talking to so many, woke people in Chicago. Never mind. I'm just kidding.
No, you're right. No, you're right.
I got you.
Everybody,
right.
sadly, everybody's looking at each other like we're crazy. You're looking at me crazy. I'm looking at you crazy. It's just, until the truth comes out. And I'm really hoping, and if Tim.com is paying attention, which I know for sure he's not, but if that guy wants to step up and stop milking this, just throw it out there. Was Seth the WikiLeaks guy? Just post whatever you got. And because he's not going to sit at some hearing in Congress. That's never going to freaking happen.
I mean, if he doesn't tend to, if Congress doesn't want to give him what he wants, which they should anyway, they should 100% give him whatever anyway. If he doesn't get what he wants, he should just leak out everything himself. Then really shove it right in everyone's fucking face.
Oh, and Kelley Lean also has a press pass, so she'll be there too.
Oh, good.
Everything. I totally forgot about
That's
that.
honestly
I knew
how
she
I
was
really.
going, but
sorry.
All right, guys. Aloha. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone in
Good night,
chat.
guys.
Everybody, everyone have a wonderful evening. Bye,
Monitor
chat. Bye,
on
everybody.
Facebook.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Night.